Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Sacred Heart Awakenings group. Welcome to another week of the Love Wisdom live Facebook video. And if you're watching on YouTube, welcome as well. Thank you all who are watching live and those who are watching on replay land. I welcome you. And in this message, I would like to share about the act of self-love, which is a daily routine, practice, habitual, ritual type thing to do and start doing if you're not doing it. But I want to share some tips as far as what you can do to get started or get guidance on them. So welcome. My name is Monica Bermudez and I am an intuitive self-love energy healer. I'm very passionate about helping conscious men and women to find their way during this ascension path that we find ourselves, and to help those who have gone through some form of heartbreak due to romantic relationships and are looking to transform that to be more in alignment with their own source of joy and love, and to attract that sacred partner in their life. So let's talk about, in general, into relationships and as well as the heartbreaks. How many of you can say that you've had some form of heartbreak in your life due to romantic relationships? Actually, the better question is, how many of you can say you have not had any form of heartbreak, romantic type relationship heartbreak? I think it's safe to say that most of us have had some form of heartbreak in our own way when it comes to relationships with others. And most of those are in some form of romantic relationship as well. And even those who may be married now, I'm sure have experienced it sometime in their life before the marriage with someone else or in some other situation. And then there's the other aspects of experience of the many human lifetimes that we've had before this human lifetime. And I'm speaking, of course, of reincarnation, of karma, which are all a form of experience of having so many human lifetimes here on this earth. And so that is why we're here. It is to learn from those experiences so that we expand and we grow. And the reason why we don't remember all those experiences is because of the veil that we've been undercover, or we've been covered up with. So it has been very difficult to remember such situation. But there are certain things from that do in some way cause a block in our current situations and relationships that we have in this lifetime. And they also in some ways impact our own self-worth, our own self-image, and how we perceive ourselves with eyes of love. Now, generally speaking, we spend most of our time, I would say, looking for a romantic partner in our life, relationships. And it's always been the case where many people tend to ask, do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? Or when are you getting married? So these are just, to me, like pattern type questions in a way, because that is the way society has programmed us. That we grow up, that we get in a relationship, and that we get married. That seems to be the old way of doing things. And at times we acted with this societal pressure that one aspect is you don't want to be alone, of course. But the other part is some form of society also based on their own perception. Just because the majority do something doesn't mean you also have to conform to that. And so at times most people feel pressured that they have to be married at a certain age, that they have to have a baby at a certain age. And that's true, if that's what you so desire. But really, where that relationship starts is inside of you, and knowing your own worth and building your own relationship. So certainly a relationship with someone else shouldn't be rushed. And that is oftentimes what leads into some form of pain and heartbreak, because we haven't spent enough time with ourselves to really get to know ourselves and really know what it is that we like, what we're looking for, and what we need in our life and us. And when we end up in these relationships that are so rushed, we often get blindsided by certain aspects of what we perceive to be love. And sometimes we wear these rose-tinted glasses where everything looks like love, but then we ignore certain red flags and warnings telling us that it's not a match. But whatever it may be the case, it all starts within us and what we do and how we are. I speak from experience because I myself had the biggest triggering moment of my life, of my own heartbreak, when I had my divorce. And that really just sparked so much inside of me that led me into this transformational path and journey of expansion, of a greater soul expansion, which is where we're all heading. Today is Friday, December 11th, 2020. We're towards the end of 2020. This whole month is a huge portal leading us into 2021. Now, in 2 days or so from now, we're going to be entering the peak energy of the total solar eclipse, new moon energy. And that is another form of vortex and portal. So it's a gateway, it's a door of energy, an influx of huge amount of energy that is coming into this month, building up for the solstice, the winter solstice, that has major planets coming into conjunction. And these mainly Saturn and Jupiter, which are significant for astrologers. And so there is a bit of a rebirthing for all of us, humanity, as well as the individuals, that will push us even further into waking up faster and increasing that frequency energy in us. And there will be many truths that will be revealed because it will be the right time for us to know. And there will be an increase of even greater abilities that have been dormant in us for so long. And as such, though, of that great waking up, some are still yet suffering from certain traumas. They still find themselves stuck with this pain. Some of it from ancestral and from karmic. So now is the time to release that, to let it go. And focus your attention to be of the highest good, the highest vibrational timeline that you can imagine. So this is the time for us to really step up and to do that deeper inner work in us, in each of us. To really come to this earth and build this new age that we're about to enter. Because that is what the solstice is, and marks this new age. And it's a new age that is, as astrologers are calling it, the age of Aquarius. And it's been prophesied by many ancients, including the Hopis, that we're entering into right now, a huge explosion of unity, communities of love, of working together. It is no longer of that of the individual, focus on just themselves and the whole competition and the separation of the old world, which was, as many would say, third dimensional. But whatever you may call it, that we're entering into this new world of expansion, just remember of the power that you hold inside of you to make a difference in the things that you're doing, what you choose to do. So studies have shown, of going back to relationships and romantic relationships and heartbreaks, there is a term used, a cardiomyopathy, which literally stands for broken heart. So when we are triggered by a heartbreak, it triggers many things such as depression, which then leads on this path of unhealthiness, not only energetically, but also physically. Because as we are all energy, our body, which is physical form, also has energy itself. So mind over matter, or mind over everything, right? So it is what we're feeding our own physical body. And I don't mean just food and drink. I mean our own thoughts as well, our own emotions, and becoming more aware and conscious of them. Because all of that is also feeding into the physical cells of our body. And it's just creating other patterns in us that become programmatic routines and habitual and subconscious. So the best thing to do is to become aware of those feelings and those emotions and thoughts, and work on transmuting them and changing them into another form, alchemizing them, which is another term for change and transformation. So now I would like to share some tips for getting started on the act of self-love as a daily routine in your life, making it habitual. Number 1, do meditation, especially now that we are finding ourselves in this portal for December of 2020, as we are birthing ourselves into this new age. Not just going into 2021, but it's a whole new age of expansion. So do as much meditation now to go within, connect with humanity, connect with your higher self, and do an act of humanity, collective work, energy work during that meditation. Find a sacred space somewhere where you could be quiet, you could find time for reflection and time for that meditation. So if you have a really busy life and you're surrounded by many people and it's very difficult, try to find that sacred space for yourself. That is an act of your own self-worth and investment, to find that space, to give yourself the time of quietness, reflection, and meditation. Number 2, find time to bond with nature. So it may be winter right now, so obviously it's a little cold, but do try to take some time to go outdoors and connect with nature and receive some of the nature spirit energies. They are very active at this time and are looking forward to connect with each of us, especially with how the energies are increasing right now here on this planet. So definitely find a time to go bond with nature. And number 3, surround yourself by uplifting people who are positive and who are motivating and uplifting you in every step of the way. Especially if you have gone through some form of heartbreak. You definitely need to be around really positive people. But you could make that a daily practice, a habitual, to strengthen yourself and always find that community, that tribe that you connect with. A tribe like the Sacred Heart Awakenings Facebook group that is focused on self-love, love and joy in general, as a community, and sharing that with the world and expanding it. And so when you need the help, of course, seek the help that you need. You don't have to do things alone. Not anymore, because that is the new age that we're entering. It's an age of community support. It's an age for us to come together with strength of love and joy. Because when we're together, we're 10 times much stronger than anybody can ever imagine. And so that is what we need now, is to have each other's support. It's not about competition of who's better, who's lesser. Just because somebody has more money or a higher title, we are all equal in God's eyes. We all come from the same divine source, a spark. So know that to be true. It's just simply reminding you of it, of the great power that you hold inside of you. So do seek help when needed to someone that you resonate with, whether it be with your group of friends or tribe, or whether it be with some form of energy healer or mentor or coach, and reach out to them. So definitely do take care, and I hope that these keys and these tips do help you. I would love to hear your comments on them. If getting started on a daily practice, even a few minutes, you start to form habits. Now there are studies that say that about 21 days or so, you form a habit. But what I truly feel is that when there is a strong will to want to make a change, that is your own source of power, of your own willpower, the desire, the want, the willingness, and the commitment that you really want to make a change, you will make it happen, no matter what it takes. No matter what obstacle or challenge presents itself on the path, you will find a way through it or around it. So if you really want to make these acts of self-love and self-care, then you would start following some of these suggestions and guidance, which are provided with love and shared with you. And if you already know this, then just let it be a reminder to you. So I would like to now share, well, first of all, those who are interested in my website, there is a free gift on the heartbreak that is the spiritual awakening for those who have gone through a heartbreak. And those are 9 signs that it is your spiritual awakening in disguise. I like a quote from Rumi that says, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." So what does that mean? The wound is the place where the light enters you. So it is like when we go through a heartbreak, it is a form of wound in our heart. At least it feels that way. It's painful. It's emotionally painful. But that is where you receive the greater light, because you're going through a spiritual awakening process, a learning experience from it. And so that is what Rumi means by that quote, is that the traumas and the pains that we go through in life is also service for us to bring us back into the light, Because oftentimes these heartbreaks, these traumas, and these pains can trigger us into this dark night of the soul, where everything feels at loss and hopeless and dark. But that is all part of a process that leads us into the light. So how else can you recognize the light? It is by knowing the shadow, the darkness. And from that darkness, it leads you over into the light. So I would like to conclude with another quote from Buddha. And this is one of my favorite ones. The thought manifests as the word. The word manifests as the deed. The deed develops into habit. And the habit hardens into character. So watch the thoughts in his ways with care, and let it spring from love, born out of concern for all beings. So talking about habits, it all starts from our own thoughts, which lead into words, and words lead into deeds, which is another form of saying actions, and develop as habits, which also lead into our own character of who we are. So definitely work with your own heart, developing your own relationship with yourself, developing that inner self-love and inner self-care. That is the act of where you should be starting. And everything else will come together as far as relationships and everything around your life. It's a continuous working progress. It's a habitual process that we do and have to maintain on a daily basis. It's like a routine maintenance. It's like what we do for a car, right? We do certain maintenance for it to still be able to function. So this is what we do for us to be able to still function and maintain our own balance here on earth as human beings. Because we're both light and we're both shadow. And so we acknowledge and are aware of those aspects inside of us. So we must love every single aspect of us and who we are and what we are. And everything will come into greater clarity for you. So I welcome your comments and any questions you may have in the comments below. And I look forward to connecting with you in the next Love Wisdom video. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. And I'm sending you so much love. So take care and much love, and see you in the next video.